Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how I make my baked macaroni and cheese. Very simple and very delicious, okay? I'm using 9.5 cups of water. I'm going to season this water with 1.5 tablespoon of kosher salt and 1 tablespoon of chicken bouillon powder. And I'm using 1 16-ounce box of macaroni elbows. And I'm going to boil this past the al dente stage, okay? We don't want this to be al dente. If that's how you like your noodles, you could go ahead and do that, but that will not be my recipe and that will not be the results that I would prefer, okay? All right, so once my noodles are cooked to my liking or boiled to my liking, I'm gonna take them out of my pot or the pan that I'm using and reserve 1 cup of the pasta water for later use. I'm gonna go ahead and shred my cheese. I'm using Colby Jack cheese and extra sharp cheddar cheese, and I'm going to cut them in half to fit in my food processor because I'm using it to shred my cheese. You can shred cheese by hand. If you like, use one of those rotary tools. I don't really care for those things, and they stress me out a little bit. And you can definitely use pre-shredded cheese if you like, but I've noticed that the cellulose in the pre-shredded cheese alters the texture of my macaroni and cheese when I make it. I mean, it's not too bad, but I prefer the hand or freshly shredded cheese over the prepackaged one, especially if I'm making it for a special occasion. Okay, so this is how 1.5, so the entire Colby Jack cheese and half of the cheddar cheese look. The other half of the cheddar cheese I'm going to shred at the end and keep that in the food processor because that's going to be used in the sauce first. Okay, hopefully you understand. I shredded the entire Colby Jack and a half of the cheddar and then the other half and left that in the food processor. Okay, now using the same pot that we used to boil our pasta, I'm gonna melt together 1 stick of salted butter and add in 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. If flour brand matters to you, I'm using the King Arthur brand of flour, but you can use any brand of flour that you have so long as it's all-purpose. And I'm just gonna melt this together on medium heat. Okay, I'm not turning this into brown butter, so that's why I didn't melt it first, then add the flour. I put it together and melt it together. Now I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. This is the best tasting, smelling, looking smoked paprika I have found, and I'll put a link to it down below. Now I'm going to add in 3/4 teaspoons of ground black pepper to that, and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder and 1 teaspoon of onion powder. I'm sorry, you guys, the onion powder clip kind of dropped off somewhere, so but it's in there. Okay, so just mix this all together and this is how it should look. We're still at medium heat and we're gonna add in our 1 cup of pasta water that we reserved from earlier and mix this together. We're still at medium heat, just so you know. And then we're gonna start adding in our creams. I'm gonna add in 1/2 cup of the cream at a time, totaling 1.5 cups of heavy cream total. Okay, so 1.5 cups of heavy cream. I'm just doing a 1/2 cup at a time and mixing this in because you don't want this to cool down too fast and turn into like clumpy, lumpy, like a dumpling type of texture. So again, only 1.5 cup of heavy whipping cream. Use the full fat one, not the fat-free one, not the low-fat one. Use the full fat one. I truly hope you guys try this macaroni and cheese recipe and truly enjoy it. Let me know in the comment section if you do, okay? Now I'm gonna add in my 1 cup of milk. Once I've added in my heavy cream, and then I'm going to add in 1.5 teaspoons of yellow mustard. And we're going to mix that all together. The temperature of the sauce has cooled down, so at this point, I will lower my temperature between the low and medium part of the burner, the knob, to help you understand. All right, so medium-low. And I'm going to add in only the cheddar cheese. So half of the cheddar cheese, 8 ounces or half of the 16-ounce block of cheddar cheese that we shredded towards the end that I kept in the food processor. So this is how your sauce should look, okay? once it's done. Now that we have our sauce done, our pasta is drained, you're going to add in about 1.5 cups of sauce to your pasta and just mix it. Now we're going to put our macaroni and cheese together. We're going to put a little bit of the noodles on the bottom, and then we're going to add some of our sauce on the noodles. If you want, you can separate this into threes, but just try to not put all of the sauce in there, okay? You're going to put some of the sauce in and mix this in really well. And then you're going to go in with the Colby Jack / cheddar cheese that you shredded, and you're going to put a layer of this on top of your macaroni and cheese sauce mixture. Then you're going to go back in with more macaroni noodles and make your second layer of macaroni noodles. Spread this out a bit evenly. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then you're going to add some more sauce on top of that. Make sure you have enough left for the end because we're doing 3 layers, okay? And then you're going to go back in with cheese. Make sure you are leaving enough cheese to do 3 layers. And then now the rest of the noodles, get all the sauce out that's in that pan. Put it in the pot if you have to, okay? Not pan, bowl, I mean. You're going to spread out your noodles as best as you can. Does not have to be perfect. And now we're going to put the rest of our cheese sauce on top of the last layer of macaroni noodles. Get all the sauce out of there. It literally makes enough sauce for a standard pan of macaroni and cheese, baked macaroni and cheese, or a standard foil pan, okay? Not the really big one, just a regular standard one. So as you guys can see, I'm putting the sauce all over, making sure it is evenly distributed all over the last layer. Get it in all the nooks and crannies. Once we've got that done, we're going to go in and add the rest of our cheese. This is how the pan should look when you are done with the sauce. To make things easier, if you want to, you can separate your sauce into 3 equal parts, and you can separate your cheese into 3 equal parts so that you have enough for each layer, okay? You could do that if you want to. If you've never made this before, I would suggest you do that so you don't run out or one of your layers doesn't have enough cheese or something like that, okay? Once we have that all covered with cheese, this is the last of our cheese. Bowl is now empty. We're going to go in and sprinkle just a tiny bit of paprika on top. You can use smoked or regular for this part. The only part that I recommend smoked is the part where we're making the sauce. That's the most important part. And then we'll do a little razzle dazzle with some parsley. If you do not like parsley, you do not have to add this, but I like parsley. All right, so instead of me putting foil over my pan, I like to put another pan over my pan, foil pan over my pan, because the foil always sticks and it bothers me. So I put that and it builds up more steam and melts my cheese better. So this is after 25 minutes at 350 degrees. And this is how it should look. And then we're going to put it back in the oven to broil for 12, maybe 13 minutes on low. This is how the crust is going to look. And at about 13 minutes, this is how it looks. I'm going to let this cool down for about 25 to 35 minutes because it's boiling hot. There's a lot of melted cheese in there before I go in to get a piece. So it has a nice cheesy crust on top. Doesn't have like a burnt cheese smell or, look to it. It's beautifully golden brown. So now we're going to take our first slice, I guess, out. Or scoop, whatever you want to call it. And this is how she looks. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. My kids patiently waited for me to finish, so here is their reaction afterwards.
Can I taste it?
Hold on, baby, hold on.
We have a test taste.
You have a test taste?
We're going to have a test taste.
Y'all try it.
Okay, I'm gonna. Boy, what the? It looks like pizza.
Move late, brother, have his fork. It was good, huh?
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, Nicholas.
Okay, can we not share one plate? Can't remember.
Huh?
Just let that be Nick's plate, because